the Civil War.
The Civil War began on April 12, 1861 and ended on May 9, 1865.
The Civil War began because of the difference in opinion on the subject of slavery between the northern and southern regions of America.
So far in the war, the Confederates were taking the lead. Most battles won were by the Confederates or draws between two sides. There were more casualties on the Union side than the Confederate side.
With a staggering 20,141 soldiers dead on the Confederate side and 15,849 soldiers dead on the Union side, you can tell that the Union is making a comeback. George B. McClellan leads the Union side, while Robert E. Lee leads the Confederates.
The main purpose of the 7 Days Battle was to complete McClellan's Peninsula Campaign, which was an ongoing movement, where the main focus was to capture the Confederate capital, Richmond, Virginia. The battle started on June 27th and ended on July 1st, 1860. According to History.com, the Union Army sailed into Chesapeake Bay. The Confederates and the Union then clashed in late June. Both armies suffered from disease and extreme weather as both sides were both battered down. On the first day of battle, June 25th, 1862, McClellan led his army into a town called Old Tavern, where they planned to siege guns. General Lee sent out his troops, causing battle between the two, resulting deaths on both sides. On the second day of battle, McClellan no longer wanted to target the Old Tavern. The Confederate forces wanted to attack the Union troops by passing through the city of Mechanicsville. The Confederates instead retreated, and his exhausted troops reached the Union troops too late to do immediate damage. The arrival of the Confederates scared the Union troops, and they started retreating. During the third day of battle, the Confederates chased down the Union. Later during the day, the Confederates attacked the Union but then was repulsed. On the fourth day, Lee's troops waited to see what the Union troops would do. McClellan packed his trains and burned off all unnecessary items and went to retreat back to the north. On the fifth day, the Confederates found empty Union trenches and they continued in Union pursuit. The Confederates eventually caught up with the Union and attacked them at Savage's Station. The Union continued retreating to a river in Virginia called James River. On the sixth day, the Confederates wanted to strike a final blow on the Union Army and attack them on Glendale Crossroads. Lee sent out several troops to attack the Union forces. Each Confederate troop was staggered and all of them attacked at different times, which means it gave time for the Union soldiers to replenish themselves. Finally, on July 1st, the Confederates wanted to attack the Union on Malvern Hill. Lee's troops were careful, but the Union had their plan well thought out. They managed to fend off the Confederate army, but they later retreated at night to a place called Harrison Landing. In the end, it was the Union who had retreated and suffered a humiliating defeat, but it was the Confederates that lost more men. This was a turning point for the Union, since now they realized the capabilities of both themselves and the Confederates. This battle also helped the Union realize that they need to drop the Peninsula Campaign and devise another plan. This later led to the victory of the war. In conclusion, the 7 Days Battle was a turning point for both the Union and the Confederates. The Union suffered a defeat, but it was a turning point since they lost more men than the Confederates. And it helped the Union since they realized that the Peninsula Campaign was not going to work out perfectly. The Confederates became more confident about winning the war after they were able to push the Union Army back. All in all, the 7 Days Battle was a turning point in not only the Union, but in the Confederate side.
America.